Hey ghouls, Terror Krueger, the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. Today I'm excited to bring you this new horror movie review, going over one of my all-time favorite horror movies that not a lot of horror fans have actually seen or even heard of. So I am so excited to share it with you today. Hopefully shine some light on it and share this experience with y'all. If you do want to, this is going to be a full spoiler review, so if you do want to check out this movie before that, it is available on Shudder. Go ahead and definitely check it out there. I was super excited about it because I actually was thinking of what movie to cover next, and I kind of wanted to go do like an old classic movie, and I feel this one's perfect. I was hanging out with a friend last night who is also like a huge horror buff, and we were looking for stuff to watch, and I was on Shudder and came across Cherry Falls, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen this one in a while, and he had never ever heard of it, and he goes deep into horror movies. So when he was like, he's never seen Cherry Falls, I was like, perfect, let's watch this one. I remember first seeing this movie like as like a kid, pretty much. The only other person who ever seen it was one of my like really best friends back in middle school. Like me and him were like so obsessed with this movie and on the hunt. We were never able to find a copy to purchase up until now. I think, is it Scream Shout Factory? I forget. It's Scream Factory. Actually released it on Blu-ray with a bunch of commentary and stuff, which I'm super excited for. I'm gonna go purchase that. I already did, actually. I ordered it, so I'm super excited because the movie was actually very unavailable, and due to the time it came out was in 2000. This movie could have had the potential to be so great, but because of like the Columbine incident in 2000, the MPAA like was heavily like down on this movie. It also had a lot of problems in production, and with that said, like you can kind of see it in the film, but it's still overall a pretty good movie. And that's just my, if this movie was able to have the full, given its full potential, like the opportunity to show what it was, it could have been so great. As I was doing research for the film, apparently there's like the original script online that I want to hunt down and read. I should have done it before this, oh well. But they said the script was so much darker and violent, but of course because of the time with what happened, the whole movie is revolving, real quick, the plot is about a bunch of teens who are being hunted down by a slasher, but unlike in traditional horror where if you have sex and then you die, this one, the killer goes after you if you're a virgin and carves the virgin into you or on something around you. So of course that scares all the kids, and then it leads to like this big orgy party later. So yes, this movie was very heavily edited because of the subject matter, and even if the incident and what had happened around the time didn't happen, this probably would have still, you know, probably been heavily like censored by the fucking MPAA. They ruined a lot of the Friday the 13th movies. Like, so this one, and there was like a version of the movie that isn't cut down, but it has since been lost, and it's so disappointing because I would have loved to see like a full unedited version, because unfortunately this didn't get a full theatrical release in the US. It was straight to TV on the USA network. So I mean, it's cable TV, they can show some stuff but not a full amount of gore. So a lot of the gore is cut down when bodies are discovered. There's kind of like a negative filter over it. Like you get a quick shot of the bodies, and then like it's like flashing back between like over edited shots and then the victim. So that sucks. But anyways, like the movie stars a late, very young Brittany Murphy, and oh my gosh, she is so adorable in the movie. Like, I love her. She plays Jody, who is the daughter of a sheriff, who is investigating the crimes. And then, you know, one of the great things about this film is that it had the potential to be so great because it had a lot of recognizable faces in the film, especially from that like era when it came out, from like late 90s to early 2000s films. Like you see the cute little geek from like The New Guy. You see Jesse, his last name starts with a B. He's like the brother in Bring It On for Eliza Dushku's brother. He's in Swim Fan. Oh my god, he is just so fucking hot. He's so dreamy. And surprisingly, I'm not sure like at what point he was in his career in this movie, because he's like in the opening kill. Him and his girlfriend are off at this like park or whatever, like this area where you just park and fuck, make out, whatever. He's trying to get out there, she denies him. So they're kind of just like fooling around. The killer shows up, he gets out of the car, of course, like in every dumb horror movie. He gets attacked, and you see the killer like going to town, slashing him up, and then the girl gets it too. When they are discovered, they just say his body was found face down in the water, and she's like crucified on these trees. And that is, it's like a pretty cool scene that you do see for like a quick second, because you do see the killer going up to her, like stabbing her with a bloody knife. Like the the teacher, I forget his real name. I know he's a comedian. Like I saw his face and I know he's been like in a million things, but like I don't know his name. I know he's like a comedian, and this movie's also kind of allured to be like a dark comedy horror film, not as like Idle Hands, but like it's a serious movie with a lot of like comedic parts in it, if you get what I'm saying. Um, so like I said, if it wasn't for the MPAA fucking up this movie and everything, like it could have been so great. Like the production, um, kind of really fucked up a lot. Like they had a lot of problems with production and everything because it was supposed to be a theatrical release, ended up getting released on TV in the year 2000, and I don't know, it kind of slowly built a cult following because, like I said, I came across this movie randomly on TV one night. I was just watching TV with my mom as a kid. The movie came on, and I was just like, what is this? Like, you know, I was very, like, into the Scream movies. Scream 3 had just come out around this time. So, you know, a new slasher, a girl running away from, like, a killer with a knife. Like, oh my God. And that's what I loved about this movie, too. The chase scenes are pretty good in it. And that's what I miss from, like, some of these horror movies instead of just, like, a person, like, oh, gonna open a door and get killed. There's a good chase scene, and Brittany Murphy is an ultimate fangirl. She was so amazing in it, and if they didn't kill off the killer so easy as they did in this one, I think it could have been a pretty good franchise to like keep running with. Because what I really loved about the killer is that, spoiler alert already, the teacher, the comedian guy, is the killer, and he's a cross-dresser. So I think that was one of the reasons why me and my friend back in the day were so obsessed with this movie, is because the killer was like a drag queen pretty much, or a cross-dresser. And I fucking love that. I mean, cross-dressing, killing horror. Hello. I just loved it. Although it was like his first time in drag because he's wearing like a cheap witch wig where it's like that black wig with the white streak. It looks horrible. And he wears like a fucking grandma church heel. But whatever. If it's the most sensible heel to wear while you're running around killing virgin teenagers, then so be it. I would do it in a hooker heel, but you know, you do you, sis. But one of the cool things I like too is that he has all these different blades like on him. So like he just has a handle that like detaches and unattaches, so he can pull all these different blades as he's like chasing the people and killing them. I thought that was super cool. Like he has a regular blade, curved hooks, and all this shit. And one of the things I love about the movie is like that Brittany Murphy and all her little friends in the movie, like even the little gay goth kid, her boyfriend, her other friends, reminded me of like me and my friends in high school, because they weren't your typical like, you know, average looking like whatever type of teenager. They kind of had the little edge to them where they were like kind of like an alternative style. The boy, her friend Timmy, wearing makeup and fur. I was like, very me in high school. I mean, very me now. So I just love that. Her boyfriend playing guitar, her like, I loved her whole little like look in the whole movie. I thought it was very cute. So I don't know, I just really enjoyed this movie as like a teenager watching it. I would show like all my friends I could, but like I said, this movie was so hard to come across. Like me and my friends would like just search and search like to see whenever it was going to be shown on TV or whatever, because we could never find it to rent or buy at the time. So this is, like I said, this is definitely one you need to check out. There's a couple of red herrings in it, like the deputy, the sheriff's deputy in the movie, like because you are under the impression that the killer is a woman. So there's like, oh, I was first on scene, and then she's gonna follow Brittany Murphy as her like security because she wants to go to school after she's attacked at school. So yeah, it's like a fun movie, although there's some weird parts in it. The relationship with her parents is kind of off. Like in the beginning when she's kind of like in the car with her boyfriend, like making out and stuff, and they kind of get into a fight, and the mom interrupts it because she comes to ask the boyfriend for a cigarette, and like it's that awkward situation where like you and your boyfriend are having an altercation, and then someone comes up like not knowing what's going on, and you're having to sit there awkwardly making friendly conversation with them, and like the mom just won't walk the fuck away, and it seems like she's trying to fuck the boyfriend, which is kind of weird. It's like, girl. It was just kind of odd. And then her relationship with her father in the movie was also kind of like weird to me. I don't know, is it just me? Have y'all seen this movie, or you go watch this movie and let me know? Because I felt like there was that quirky scene where so the first killing happens, so he's teaching her self-defense, and then they have that moment where like he's just gonna like come and attack her, she's gonna defend herself, and then they fall on top of each other, and then the phone rings, and it's that awkward like him getting up and her off the floor, but they're supposed to be father and daughter, and that scene just kind of like really disturbed me. Was it just me? I don't know, because she's just like sitting there like all vulnerable, like and the dad's like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, was it supposed to be weird? I don't know, it kind of just weird to me. And there's just other parts where like there's twice where he leaves her the first time when he gets a call for the first murder, so she's watching him from the window and she's like, Daddy. And then a part where they're watching him at like a secret town meeting and she looks at him again and she's like, Daddy. Like, I don't know, I thought it was so weird. Oh, and then the part, well, the killer's motive is that four men were raped a woman, and, well, teenagers, they were in high school, it was years ago. They raped a woman and nothing happened to them because, of course, they came from good families, they were football players, so, you know, everyone was fucking up their ass and let this poor innocent girl just get assaulted and nothing come of it. So she finds out two of the men have moved away. She finds out the other two are her principal and then her father. And the way her mom's like talking about it nonchalant, like, oh, it's okay. Like, she was a nobody. No one liked her. She was weird. Like, because that makes it okay, girl. Like, all right. But allegedly, the father was not part of the whole rape. He was drunk, throwing up while it was happening. And when he passed out drunk, they dragged him and put him on top of her and kind of like, you know, puppeteered him into raping. I don't know. That's the plot of the movie. But so that's the killer's motive. We find out that the teacher is the killer, and he is also Brittany Murphy's, I guess, half brother, and like the son of the cop also, because I guess he's the one who impregnated her. And yeah, he came from her. So yeah, so he's coming back in revenge for like the assault of the mother and his upbringing, coming back, you know, killing all the virgins and stuff like that because they took her innocence away. So he's coming back to kill everyone because they have their innocence, which is pretty much a good plot. Like, I thought it was pretty like, okay, it's very different. I haven't seen anything like that since. And I know like most people aren't all about remakes, but I think this is one that would deserve like a really good remake. I would keep the same director and writer, and you know, go make the movie that they want to make to put out there. I think it would be so good, especially if we can't find like the uncut version of the film. Like, it would be so cool to see like a reimaginative version of this script, like bringing Brock back to life and being made into the movie they wanted to make without all like the MPAA or heavily edited with all the shit going on at the time, because the kills in the movie were pretty amazing. I don't know if I mentioned it already. Like I said, because it was on TV, it was edited down a lot, because also, like, I mean, the subject matter is a bunch of teenagers trying to lose their virginity so they don't get killed. So it's a bunch of teenagers involving sex and murder. Of course, that's going to be a hard subject that's going to have to be heavily edited. Of course, none of the people are actually played by real teenagers, which is obvi. But, you know, a lot of the deaths, because it was unfortunately a TV movie, are kind of cut down a lot. You do like see like they kind of edit it with like a negative and then like a back shot of the kill and the not the kill. I remember I was so obsessed with the girl Annette's death in the film. She goes to answer the door to someone, a stranger, and it's like this woman talking and saying she's a friend of the mom, and when she like opens the door to hand her like a note, she like reaches in and grabs her by the hair and yanks her head down and like busts the door down because she's holding it close to the chain, and she grabs the girl's head, or the killer grabs the girl's head and puts it in between the door and starts slamming the door on her head. I was so obsessed with that kill, like, when I first saw this movie. And then I kind of got really like Casey Becker vibes when the parents get home and discover her body. They see it, the front door is open and the mom walks into the living room and there's like all these blood stains and a fucking meat tenderizer on the floor covered in blood, and she's like crucified on the ceiling. I was like, bitch, that was pretty amazing. And like I said, there was so much more they wanted to do but was heavily edited. And I don't know where Scream 4 came up with this imaginary rule of like, in order to survive a horror movie, you have to be gay, because her friend Timmy, well, I'm assuming is the homosexual in the movie. His just based by he reminds me of myself in high school. He's a boy wearing makeup and fur coats and very ecstatic. At one point during the town meeting, he disappears. Brittany Murphy finds him dead, his throat slashed open, and virgin written across the locker that she finds him in. So, like, Scream 4 came up with this rule, and I remember even when I first saw Scream 4, and like, in order to survive a horror movie, you have to be gay. And I was kind of like, I don't think so, because right away that movie came to mind. Timmy from Cherry Falls, David from Bride of Chucky, just to name like two off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure there's more out there, but I was all like, they didn't make it to the end. They got killed. So I don't know where they came up with that rule. Oh, but yes, so the climax of the movie is like, so the kids make a cherry popping party. So they're gonna have like this like big orgy party at like some abandoned house, so everyone can lose their virginity so they're safe from the killer. And towards the climax of the movie, the third act, is where they kind of reveal everything. So the killer he ends up killing the principal, kidnapping the cop. And it's funny because like Brittany Murphy shows up to the professor's house. They have like this like bond where they just are all like talking all the time, and she's helping him like carry this trunk in the house, and he's like, oh, it's memorabilia, I'm taking it to the basement, and they throw it down the stairs, and she's like, what's in there? And he looks at her and he's like, your dad. Possibly mine too. So she runs down to the basement to open the box, and she finds the dad down there, and he knocks her out. So in the climax of the movie, I love the fucking end. So he has Brittany Murphy, Jodie, and her father's character tied up, and he's like making him tell her all the tea of what happened and all this shit. So like, as that's going on, he hears the doorbell upstairs ringing, and he goes upstairs, and it's Jodie's boyfriend looking for her, and they're kind of just having like, why are you here, Tim? He's like, why are you here? What the fuck is that? I forgot the boyfriend's name, but he's like, why are you here? Like, he's like, her bike's here, so I came to look for her. And then he's looking at the teacher. He's like, why are you wearing lipstick? He's like, because it makes me feel pretty. And he's about to stab the boyfriend, but the boyfriend like fucking gut punches him and throws him outside and locks himself in the killer's house while the killer's locked outside, and he runs downstairs to save Jodie and her father. And in that process, the killer makes it inside, attacks them, and I feel just like it was kind of like a lackluster kill. So like in that process, Brittany Murphy and her boyfriend are escaping, and they're trying to help the dad, but the dad stops behind and is having this fight with the killer, and then he gets killed with an axe. But I feel like it was kind of like a very like quick death for like this being a main character in the film. It's being her father, it's the sheriff, the one who was like a big part of the story. Like he's kind of just like knocked down and like chopped up with an axe real quick off screen. You just see him swinging the axe down at him again and again, and then they run and they make their way to the orgy party where everyone's like smashing and all that stuff, and then the like the very 90s early 2000s like cheesy the killer walks in his crazy drag. Oh my god. And the part where like after he kills them, and they run out of his house, and you see the killer running out of the house after them, and he's just like screaming, holding the knife, like ah, like and like bad drag. Oh, it's just so fucking hilarious. So he makes his way up into the house where everyone's fucking, and then like all the kids are up there, and then Brittany Murphy and her boyfriend run in yelling, the teacher's the killer, and then he just runs in, he's like, class dismissed, and he starts just like slashing and stabbing everyone. So everyone in a panic runs, and they get stuck on the stairs going down. So it's like this awkward, like big naked pile of teenagers stuck on the staircase, and then of course they block the cop from going upstairs to get up there to help, and then like the banister breaks, all the kids fall off and get up and go running. And then in that process, he attacks Brittany Murphy. She ends up throwing him off the balcony. He falls off the balcony, landing on a broken banister and getting impaled and dying. And of course, coming back for one jump scare until the police woman shoots him, and he's dead. So I don't know. I like this movie was so fun. It was like corny, but also just like a very good watch. And like I said, that's mostly what I enjoy from movies. Like it could be corny or whatever. Like I go to movies and I don't sit there to like really nitpick it like too much, honestly. Well, I do sometimes. It just depends on the film. Because I'm there to enjoy it, you know. If it's boring, then I'm gonna rip it to shreds. But you know, I had fun watching it. Like I said in my previous video, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that just released on Netflix, in no way at all was a good movie, a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie at all, but I had fun watching it, and I watched it a few times, and not because I enjoyed it, but because I was showing it to other people, and like, you know, I didn't mind the movie. Like it was a fun watch. It was nice watching all the cute kills, but this movie, Cherry Falls, definitely way better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit that just came out. Like honestly, I love this movie so much. If you go into it think like not so serious, like this is a fun horror movie. It's very campy. The killer's a cross-dresser. Like what more can you ask for? But anyways, I definitely really recommend checking it out. Like I did say, it is available to watch on Shudder. Definitely go check it out and then come back in the comments, tell me what you thought about it. What were your favorite parts? Would you like to see a remake of this movie, or just at least the uncut version? You know, I'm down for both. A new one and an uncut version. I'm down for both. You know, surprise me. But with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I'll go ahead and leave my Cash App down below if you want to tip this witch. I'll go ahead and leave all my social media usernames down below if you want to follow me. I would greatly appreciate it. But like I said, what I would always appreciate so much more is if you smash that like button, hit that bell for notifications, subscribe to this cult, and just join the family where we talk about horror and true crime. So until the next time, this is Terror Krueger, and I'll see you ghouls later. Bye.
Yeah.